Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining me for another review. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe. If you're not new to the channel, sit here, hang with me. We're going to go through a bottle that I'm actually pretty excited about. It's from Nashville Barrel Company, and it's probably the oldest age-stated bourbon that I've had from them. It's a 10-year-old MGP pick called No Regrets. Regrets. So a little play on a movie. But yeah, this I'm hoping is going to be really, really good. I did dive into it briefly, just took a couple sips, but really haven't broke it down and really experienced it much. So I wanted to do that with you guys. Hang tight with me. We're going to kick the show off. Thanks again, guys, for coming and hanging out. I want to get started with this Nashville. Got this in, I believe, a couple days ago. Cracked it open, as you can see. Not much is really out of the bottle. I kind of wanted to just get a little bit or pour a little bit out of it just to get some air in there, have it open it up and, just see how it changes from there. So we're going to give it a little go. And I also have another 10-year MGP that I actually wanted to compare this to. The first thing I actually noticed on this bottle was the color. For a 10-year MGP, it's not really that dark. Just to put it in perspective, this is 10-year MGP from Foregate, the Indiana Foundation. And you can see, I think the camera's picking it up. You can see the color difference. This is actually a bit darker. So what we're going to do is just going to dive into this NBC. Then what we'll do is just shoot over to that Foregate, kind of compare and contrast the two age statements. They're both right around the same proof. NBC coming in at 110.72 and the Foregate at 108.8. All right, guys. So as you can see, pretty good color. It is a little lighter than, most 10 years that I've had, but let's go on the nose. Cheers. All right, so initially on the nose, it's like citrus forward. It's a little bright. Normally, with just say higher age stated MGP, I tend to get a little bit more oak presence, a lot more like deep, rich notes, some dark caramels, chocolates, vanillas. And I'm not really getting that too much on here. I do get a little bit of that patented graham cracker I typically say on MGP, but it's a little citrus forward. And I'm not sure if that's maybe what NBC is doing with their barrels or whatever that Cooper Ridge might have been. But normally, I don't really get these fruit forward notes on, some higher aged MGP. But yeah, a lot of citrus, a little bit of spice there, not much ethanol at all. I can really just get a good nose and, it's not burning me up at all. But yeah, a little bit of like maybe grapefruit or orange, just like a tangy citrus mixed in with that spice and that nice vanilla. You got some oak there, but it's not overwhelming by any means. Let's go in for a taste. So right on the front, you get hit with a lot of spice. That citrus is still there. It's almost like almost like if you dip or sprinkle some cinnamon on a strawberry. You get a lot of that strawberry and citrus along with some nice spice, but it's not overly spicy or peppery. It hits the front, hits the mid. It kind of dissipates a little bit towards the back of the palate. Like the finish isn't extremely long, but it's nice. Let's go in for another sip. Yeah, with that second sip, you're getting more of that citrus. I can't get that out of my head. Literally like orange. You got strawberry in there. That spice really kicks up on the second sip. And it's very, very viscous. For 110 proof, even though the finish isn't extremely long, all those flavors seem concentrated on the inside of my mouth, which is nice. So if something's not going to be super proofy, I'd rather have those flavors just sit there so I can kind of just, keep tasting them. It almost makes it seem like the finish is actually a lot longer than what it is when all that just builds up right there. This is actually pretty good. Pretty good. I would have, in all honesty, probably thought it was slightly younger. It does come across not youthful, but just not what I'm used to in terms of, 10, 12, even 15-year MGP. It doesn't remind me too much of that. If I actually had this not knowing it was MGP, I may not have picked it out. And normally I can pick out MGP like that, but this is just a little different profile. But Nashville's infamous for that. Last year they were putting out crazy barrels at like 5 and 6 year age statements that were like unbelievable. And they drank like they were 10-year. Like this one, I think should have drank. But not to take away from it, still really good, guys. Yeah, that nose is nice. Let's compare the two really quick. So we're gonna pour up the Indiana Foundation from Foregate, 10-year MGP. Yeah, you can definitely see the color difference now. A lot more dark amber on that Foregate. I believe that's from a Calvin Cooperage, which those barrels, those are putting out, they put out bangers from Foregate too, man. The Calvins, the Indiana Foundations, they're all really, really good. When you got MGP in there, it's tough to go wrong, per se. Like MGP is just a staple for really good whiskey. So if you're blending them right, you're going to have some good stuff. So this right here, this is what I'm used to. This comes across 10, 12 years old, like just super deep, rich, sweet oak, heavy oak presence. But from what I remember, I don't remember it being overly oaky on the palate, which is nice. But I love having that oak on the nose. It's like being in an old rick house. You just walk in there, you're doing a pick, and you just have all that, just that wood. Sometimes kind of like musty wood, but just rick house smell. And that's what this reminds me of. Mixed in with, you got the vanilla. You have like a deep, almost like a cherry cola note, but like, or maybe like a vanilla vanilla cola. A little bit of spice. This one's not much. Doesn't have much ethanol forwardness either. A slight sour note, which I can't put my finger on. All right, let's go in for a taste, guys. Yeah, they're definitely different. Both really good on their own. I would say if I was blind in these, I probably would have chose this Foregate to be a little better. And the reason why I say that, it's just the richness, that chocolate, that dark oak, along with the sweetness of it. The nose is just a little bit better in my opinion. It doesn't come across slightly youthful like that NBC. And when I say that, like it's 10 years. It's not young, but it just doesn't come across to me as 10 years. But it's still a really, really good whiskey, and I'm not disappointed about the purchase. I think I paid maybe $130 or so for that bottle, which is right around what they should be to an extent. You have some 5 and 6 years that are, 99 to $110. So when you can get a 10-year, under 150 from NBC, with their track history, they're putting up some bottles in barrel. They have some really, really good barrels in stock. So when I hear 10-year from them at a price point like that, I'm not going to pass it up. 48's another one. Yeah, but the nose on this is what I want in a bourbon. Yeah, just super dark. Chocolate, vanilla, spice, sweet oak, funky oak with that as well. One more sip, guys. Yeah, slightly better. Not by much, guys. Not by much. You're splitting hairs, depending on your taste profile. You may like the NBC because it's a little bit more fruity and citrus forward versus the 48 just being a more conventional bourbon, and that's what I can really say about the two. Both really, really good on their own. Just really depends on your taste profile on which one you would prefer. We'll say 10-year NBCs are probably a little easier to get than that 48 now. The only way you're really getting that's probably through secondary around $300 to $350, which is a little pricey for most. With the Nashville just being maybe 140, maybe 200 if that, through secondary, but not the specific barrel. Other 10 years that they'll be putting out as well. But I will say, guys, just to keep it brief, if you see a 10-year NBC, $150 or less, that's MGP. You got to go with it. It's really, really good. Their Nash Tucky line too is building some traction. Those are some banger bottles as well. Lower age statements, around 5 to 8 years, depending on which barrel that you get. But those are something to look out for too, coming out of Nashville. But thank you guys for sticking with me through this video. Stay tuned. We got a lot of new stuff coming up. Bunch of fun lives every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Continue to follow the journey. Going to leave you with some tunes from David over at whiskychannel.com. Cheers, guys.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello